Good morning. My name is Ferdinando Buscema, and I am the Magic Experience Designer in service for the Arts Council. And I have the pleasure of being the spokesperson on behalf of the group and to showcase some of the works we've been working on in the last few months. But now, before we dig into our projects, I would like to give you a thread that you can follow through the path that we designed for you this morning. So this thread is a very simple piece of cotton thread, in the literal sense. Now, in the next few minutes, we are going to play with many different pieces. We are going to talk about words, poetry, music, people who suffer and people who are having fun, books, sculpture, a TEDx event, and the butterfly effect, which is basically many pieces to juggle with, so distant and so separate. Now, just to give you a clue, this is the clue. The magical moment is when we are able to see beyond appearances the fundamental unity of these pieces that are fragments of the cosmic game where everything is connected and continuously unfolding. So this is the clue to follow. Now, before entering the details of some of these projects, I would like to address the word art, which is a very fascinating and elusive word. And of course, it's a very unthankful task trying to freeze into a single definition the richness and complexity that the word art entails in our contemporary discourse. But nonetheless, I'm going to provide you a major and very simple definition to frame the works we've been working on. So this is too early, but this is it. Basically, this is the definition of art we are going to play with. Art is the science of manipulating symbols in order to achieve a change in consciousness in an audience. Now, a work of art is a tool to induce an aesthetic experience. And the effect of this aesthetic experience can range from the amusing to the entertaining to the downright transformative and numinous. Just to provide you a metaphor, if a telescope is the tool that allows us to see in the far and distant galaxies, and a microscope allows us to see in the world of atoms, a work of art, or arts in general, provide us the lenses to see beyond the mundane, the lenses to go beyond the normal, ordinary slices of reality and being that we are accustomed to. So in the words of artist Paul Klee, art does not reproduce the visible, it makes visible. Now, we acknowledge that art can exist in their own rights, divorced of any moral, didactic, or utilitarian function. And this is definitely the case. But when arts are injected with meaning and intentions, that's when art becomes a magical doorways to wider realities. And so we are here to celebrate the power of the arts in service of love and forgiveness. Now, to jumpstart with showcasing some of our projects, I would like to quote some of Mr. Fetzer's famous words that I guess many of you here in the house know by heart. And this is a quote that many of us know. Love is the core energy that rules everything. Love is the one ingredient that holds us all together. Now, I like to repeat this quote as often as possible in order to plant this seed at every possible occasion. Now, we generally underestimate the power of words to shape reality and to affect consciousness on our basic daily use of words. As a matter of fact, according to the secret teachings of all ages, words are the building blocks of magic spells. A magic spell being a piece of language properly crafted and properly designed to have specific effects on reality. And when words are imbued with meaning and intentions, words become louder than a bomb. And Louder Than a Bomb is the name of the first projects we are going to share with you today. So Louder Than a Bomb is a teen poetry festival that happens in Chicago, where young students from more than 80 schools, roughly 650 people, convene and collectively write poetry, which is then performed in a competitive setting. Now, we found that this project is a wonderful exemplar of how the power of love and forgiveness can transcend the divide and separateness and the segregation of the city, and how empathy can be, how fear can be transformed in empathy and collaboration. So just to take a look behind the curtain of what happens at Louder Than a Bomb.
We de-emphasize the competition, but you want to win. You want to be at the big theater with 1,000 people in the audience screaming for your poem. But I think what people leave with is not who won or who got scored what or who took home 3 10s or whatever it is. It's like, you know, you come as an educator, you come as a parent to Louder Than a Bomb, and you are, I think, become astounded at the power and articulation of young people. When you see this kind of intelligence from kids who are on their way to Harvard and our kids who are about to flunk out of school sometimes, you know, you see that maybe the way we judge kids and their intelligence, maybe we have that wrong. And maybe it's in part we have it wrong because we don't ask them enough about what they think. We don't incorporate the reality of their lives enough into their educational space. We don't take that into the classroom. That's the source of where we could start the education process from, and that's where we start our writing prompts from. It's like, tell me where you're from. That's prompt number 1, you know, I mean, that's it. And we begin to paint the neighborhood with language.
I thank this forum for help making me so strong, for letting me talk about sex, drugs, basketball, and moms. Fond farewell to this chapter and to all the joy and laughter. This for every kid whose voice has been louder than a bomb.
So again, this is a wonderful example of how the sheer power of words can make people come together to explore each other's realities and to craft their own realities and to distill meaning out of chaos. And so Fetzer Institute agreed to support a 12-month research program in order to explore how Louder Than a Bomb is successfully implementing this model in order to contribute very beneficially to the life of the young who partake this kind of experience. And so in order to, and the outcome will be a toolkit for educators, which will hopefully lead to implementation of this model as wider as possible. So this was Louder Than a Bomb. Now, among the arts, music holds a very special place. So since time immemorial, music provided very, very interesting experiences. So music can uplift the soul, can provide the soundscape for a celebration or a joyful event, and can even trigger a full-blown spiritual experience in a sacred context. And also, the Italian and Latin word for sing or singing is cantare, which also carries the further meaning of incantare, which means, again, casting a spell. So music is definitely a very powerful enchantment tool to cast magic spells. So we are going to share with you 3 music-related projects, just to give you a feeling of how wide the spectrum can be when music is played in service of love and forgiveness. So the first one is called the Chalice of Repulse. So Chalice of Repulse is a palliative care program for terminally ill patients, which revolves around the so-called music thanatology. So music thanatology is a practice which blends music and medical care in the end-of-life treatments. Now, the music thanatologist is a professional musician also with medical background, with medical training, and they use the harp and their own voice to serve the dying patient during the transition into the afterlife. That special and mysterious moment when the patient is entering that liminal space, when the notion of the ego is dissolving into something else. The assumption of this practice is that even when the body is failing and there is no way to heal the flesh, it is still possible to heal the soul, helping the dying patient, the dying person, to enter the dying process consciously and hopefully peacefully for a final inner work. Now, our fellow advisor, Therese Schroeder-Schecker, is a world-renowned harpist, and she's been a pioneer of the field called music thanatology. And in the last 30 years, she created a network of professionals and also training programs to train future music thanatologists. So from her live voice, just a quick message for you.
Our work today is to help unbind people from what binds them stubbornly to body when it is time, in fact, for them to go. But letting go is some of the hardest work we can do. And that's not just for the dying. That's a contemplative practice that each of us have to practice today in daily life.
So our project related to the Chalice of Repulse, it's meant to explore the elements of love and forgiveness as they occur in the practice of music thanatology. And it will result in a 60-minute documentary movie to be broadcast on PBS, and also the creation of updated material explaining what the practice of music thanatology is, which is delivered as a gift to this patient and their families. So updated materials that will spread the consciousness of the existence of such an extraordinary contemplative practice. So this was Chalice of Repulse. And now, for something completely different, we shift gears toward the joyful end of the spectrum, and this is Next Aid. So Next Aid is a non-profit organization that organizes dance and music parties, and the proceeds of these music events are used to support sustainable development projects in Africa for women, youth, and children. Now, basically, what Next Aid is doing is harnessing the power of people having fun dancing to their favorite beats on one side of the planet, translating this energy into fostering love and compassion on the other side of the planet. Just to give you a feeling of what this kind of process looks like, take a look at this.
With the support of the dance music community, Next Aid can continue to channel the positive energy from the dance floor to projects on the ground across Africa.
Dance music, if you listen and you know the people involved, is very humanitarian in spirit, and it's about community, it's about getting people together.
When I first got into this, it was because you could get such a huge group of people together, and they were so diverse, everybody's open-minded, this whole thing. Within the dance music community, everybody's very loving and caring, and what Next Aid is doing is basically bringing this scene together and trying to create awareness, to actually see what's going on over there, see these kids, all it takes is just one, opening your eyes and to see what's happening.
Yeah,
and it's very easy to make a change.
It struck me when I was told about Next Aid that it was something that was an extension of what I had been thinking about the past years. Like, what am I doing as a DJ? Is it all about the party, or could there be more to it?
Now, it's a known fact that globally there is plenty of resources It's just that they're not very equally distributed. And now the internet in the last few years is allowing the emergence of a model called crowdfunding, which allow resources to be available where they are needed and when they are needed. So NextAid, in some sense, is a form of crowdfunding. And our project is focusing on the creation of a website, of a music commerce website, which is meant to create a deeper feeling of connection between a buyer or donors and the recipients on the other side of the planet, so that a buyer can decide this dollar what kind of project is going to fund in Africa. And so we think that the internet is a very powerful tool to leverage in order to spread the Fetzer's core values. So this is NextAid. And last but not least, the last music-related project, for people who are not going to attend this kind of music festivals, they can always read a book. And this is the project called The Books of Love and Forgiveness, which will feature interviews with luminous musicians that are going to share their worldviews about the topics of music, spirituality, love, and forgiveness. And I think that books are a pretty magical device. It's a three-dimensional piece of semantic synesthesia, because when you open a book and read it, it will trigger some sort of sounds or images in your mind. And these books of love and forgiveness will look like this. And they are not have been written yet. That's the reason why you can see that maybe these pages are blank. But if you summon your own imagination, you may even see that the book is starting to write itself. Thank you. Now, the last project we wanted to share with you today, it's this. It's the organization of a TEDx event, which will be called TEDx Navigli, will take place in Milan. And the title of it is The Power of Love and its implication in the arts, business, and society at large. So many of you might know the model called the TED Conference, which is Technology, Entertainment, and Design, and the TEDx is the local offspring. This is a wonderful and very creative stage from where to deliver messages. And the invited speakers and also the organizing partners are very high profile, very well connected entities that will ensure, hopefully, a global visibility of this event. Again, and it's a chance to add a new chapter to the ongoing conversation of the ideas worth spreading, which TED is fostering in the last few years. And the flip of the coin of this TEDx event will be the so-called call to action for young artists. And this is a way of powering the love in order to keep the ball rolling and to keep on planting seeds of beauty in the collective consciousness. So a call to action for young artists is a way of inviting young artists to interpret the message of love and forgiveness through their own artistic medium in order to, again, to keep the ripple effect going. So this is the last project we wanted to share with you. And so I would like to end this quick magical mystery tour with one of my favorite ideas, which is called the butterfly effect. Now, the butterfly effect is a very known pop culture trope that comes from the field of study called chaos theory. Now, according to this idea, even a tiny and gentle action, just like a butterfly flapping its wings, can reverberate so deeply and can activate a chain of reactions that at the end will bring to very huge and powerful results. Just to paraphrase a very famous formula, a butterfly flapping its wings in Kalamazoo, Michigan, can create a storm in Assisi. That's the basic idea. I'm glad that you got it. Now, we deeply believe that each and every project born in each and every of the advisory councils is like a butterfly flapping its wings, capable of fostering awareness in the power of love and forgiveness in the emerging global community. Now, we of the Arts Council feel the privilege of adding and contributing with our voice to this majestic global gathering. And I wish all of us present today to keep up with the great work inside the alchemical vessel, which is the Fetzer Institute, until a blizzard of butterflies flapping their wings manifest love and forgiveness in the world at large. And so the magical doorway to love and forgiveness is open.
Right now.